Прошу на підпис.
Hello, welcome everyone who has joined us. This is Olga Tamanova, Ukrinform Ukraine Media Center. It is 223rd day of our fight for our freedom and independence, and today we have the following events prepared for you. At 1:30 we will have Mr. Plechkov, the head of Ukraine's nuclear power regulator in the former years. And right now we have with us Vasyl Furman, deputy chairman of the National Bank of Ukraine. Glory to Ukraine, glory to the heroes. Today, Vasyl, we are going to discuss foreign currency market. So quite recently it was decided to ban transfers from hryvnia bank cards. What operations is this all about? Yes, we need to explain a bit because transfers from hryvnia bank cards are still permitted. So since October 5th, there is the ban of B2B transfers to the bank cards of foreign banks. So this was a ban introduced in April that has enabled the support of relatives. I mean, it was lifted then, but after the 7 months of war, the role of such transfers for the support of relatives is not relevant anymore, and the risks in terms of buying foreign currency are high. And in order to protect foreign currency reserves of Ukraine and in order to ensure defense procurement, these measures need to be taken. Ukrainians will still be able to transfer their money abroad to pay for the studies, for the treatment of patients, for paying the alimony, and also taking care of the dead. And also, since October 1st, it is permitted to transfer money to non-residents for education. Also, the citizens of Ukraine can transfer money between bank cards and Ukrainian hryvnias, and also we will still have available transfers of foreign currency from the foreign currency cards to international banks with a certain limitation in the amount. So the ban is just for some operations. Generally, Ukrainians can transfer money. Let's say if there is a Ukrainian woman in Poland and her husband in Ukraine, they can transfer money from one to another. There is no problem about that. So the measures introduced are intended only to protect our gold reserves and foreign currency reserves to ensure military procurements in the future. So do we understand correctly that for the users, for Ukrainians using Ukrainian bank cards in Ukraine, nothing has changed. All the foreign currency transfers can happen. So the limitation is only about the bank cards opened in other banks of other countries. Yes, this is correct. And also speaking of transfers from Ukrainian foreign currency bank card to an international bank card, such transfers are possible. The limits are 100,000 hryvnias per month. So again, for regular citizens, for the vast majority of the population, this will have no impact at all. So the intention here is to limit different kinds of speculation operations, because wherever there are some limitations, some people are trying to earn additional money illegally. So the National Bank sees all of this, and on the one hand we are limiting some practices, on the other hand we are easing some requirements. This is all done with the intent to protect the golden reserves and foreign currency reserves of our country, to safeguard our economy and military procurement. Now, speaking about the selling of foreign currency from the reserves, what's the situation with it? Well, it's quite simple. We understand that since the very first days of the war, the National Bank has introduced the limited, the fixed currency exchange rate. This has its price, and so in total, $14 billion and €1 billion were sold over this period, but the reserves have been reduced only by $3 billion. So the reasons of pressure on the currency market is that there is a psychological factor. So for instance, there was some response to mobilization in the Russian Federation and Russia's new annexation attempts, and also before that there were logistical factors at play, because the cash, foreign currency cash, was limited. So the National Bank was intervening for a couple of times, and the reason is that it now takes a longer time and it takes more money to bring foreign currency in cash into Ukraine, but National Bank is dealing with this, and we have already completed 8 operations of supporting the situation with dollars and euro. And what's your assessment of the prospects of the foreign currency market for the upcoming time? Well, honestly, if we assess the numbers that we have sold, but they are quite big, and there was some a reduction in the amount of national reserves, although not very considerable. And also National Bank is right now implementing independent policy, including policy on the currency exchange market. So it is balanced to some extent. The market is balanced, but we need to be growing Ukrainian expert, and we need to get more international support. So a lot is being done in this area, And also we need to limit the participation of a national bank in financing of budget expenses, because it will have some impact on the inflation and devaluation expectations of our citizens. So in the budget for 2023, we can see that the budget is going to be supported by international sources. For instance, the US has recently announced that it's going to be providing $1.5 billion each month till the end of the war. They have also encouraged Europe to provide an equal amount. Also, we have heard from the head of the National Bank of Ukraine about the amount of support from IMF. Hopefully this will be up to $20 billion, and hopefully this will be a green light for other investors, because Ukraine needs lots of support for the recovery. Big amounts are necessary right now. So we are not given any forecasts right now, and looking at the 2023 budget, the annual forecasts of the Cabinet of Ministers are about 42.2, and we see that average annual exchange rate is more or less the same. So there is also a seasonal factor at play that also contributed to the weakening of hryvnia, just like in the previous years. So right now this seasonal factor is at play. Farmers are going to be buying some foreign currency, and also the energy sources are becoming more expensive. So a lot is going to depend on the events on the front lines. The more successes we have, the better is the situation with hryvnia and the devaluation expectations of our citizens. So a lot of factors are impacting hryvnia right now, and whatever depends on the national bank, I believe national bank is doing to 100% to keep the buying power of hryvnia and to maintain the financial stability in our country. Thank you. Dear colleagues, do you have any questions? Yes, we have some. It has been answered already. So, so you have answered all the questions. Thank you so much for finding time to join us today. This was Vasyl Furman, Deputy Chairman of the National Bank of Ukraine. Our next briefing is going to take place at 1:30. We are going to discuss Zaporizhia and PP. Let's believe in our victory and work for it. Thank you.